Hi, this is Helen from crystals-and-crochet.com. In this video tutorial I would like to show you how to make a single crochet and chain join for joining together squares. Okay, this one is quite lacy because it has a chain 3 between it. You can do it with just a chain 1, which will make it a much tighter join. Okay. It's also a good joining method where your squares have an uneven number of stitches. Just get some yarn on my hook. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to use quite a contrasting colour yarn here so that you'll be able to see very clearly what I'm doing. Now, I find it best to work with my squares sideways on and work across this way. Okay, the most important thing is to remember to always make your first stitch in the first corner and your last stitch in the last corner. Don't skip the corners. Okay, now with these squares there's corner stitches rather than corner spaces, so very simply all we're going to do with the right side facing us is make a single crochet into the corner stitch of our first square. Okay, now I'm going to do this with a chain 2 join just purely because it will show you a little bit better. So we chain 2. Then with our second square we're going to work from the back. Okay, so we're then going to go into that corner stitch and make a single crochet, chain 2, come back to our first square, skip a stitch and make a single crochet in that next stitch. Oops, chain 2, onto our second square, skip a stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, chain 2, back to our first square, skip a stitch, single crochet, and we're going to carry on like that all the way along. Okay, so now I've worked all the way along, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, skip a stitch, single crochet, chain 2, skip a stitch, single crochet, alternating between my first and second squares. Okay, now if I want to join 2 more squares, we're going to work in exactly the same way. So we finished off with a single crochet in the second square, so now we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to come across to the third square and make our single crochet in the corner of that square, chain 2, and then make our single crochet in the corner of our fourth square. Okay, so all we've done is move from the second square to the third to the fourth and continue working right the way along to the end, exactly the same as you did for squares 1 and 2. Okay, so there we go, we've worked all the way across. Now we need to make this next join, so all we're going to do is turn our work like that, so we can now work from here all the way along, and we're pretty much going to do it in exactly the same way. Okay, so we're going to start again in that corner stitch with a single crochet, chain 2, and going from the back into the corner of the other square, chain 2, skip a stitch on the first square and single crochet into the next one, chain 2, skip a stitch on the other square, single crochet. Okay, and carry on all the way along until you get to these last two. I'll catch up with you there. Okay, so we've worked all the way along and we've made a stitch in this corner stitch where there's already one from where we worked our first join across, chain 2, and again come into the corner stitch here where there's already a stitch in there. Okay, chain 1, slip stitch around that chain 2 that is crossing between the two squares, or the 4 squares actually, chain 1 and then single crochet in that corner exactly the same as before, chain 2, and again go into that corner stitch where there's already a stitch. Oops, let me just do a couple more and it will be easier for you to then see, whoops, how we've worked over that join between the 4 squares. Okay, let's pull that out of the way. Okay, so let's see if I can stretch this out and show you. So the first join that goes across, we went from corner to corner to corner to corner and then carried on. As we've come down, joining these next sections together, we've gone from the corner stitch to the corner stitch, but then to come across this middle section and not have a gap, we've made our single crochet in the corner, just done a chain 1, slip stitch around the chain 2 that crossed from the 2nd to 3rd square, chain 1 and single crochet in that corner stitch, and we then carry on as normal, chain 2 into the corner, chain 2, skip a stitch and into the next stitch. Okay, and you just carry on exactly like that, and that is how we make a single crochet and chain join. Remember to always make your first and last stitches of each pair into the corner, whether it's a chain space or a corner stitch. So each corner will have 2 stitches, 2 single crochets made into it. And then when you're working across that middle section on the second run, so not on the first run, that's just a chain 2 and straight over, but on the second run when you're coming across, it's chain 1, slip stitch around the chain 2 that crosses from one square to the other, chain 1 into the corner space or stitch, and then carry on exactly as you normally would all the way down. Okay, so as I said at the beginning, you can do a chain 1 in between, a chain 2 or a chain 3, depending on how open and lacy you want your join to be. Okay, that's how to do a single crochet and chain join. Thanks for watching.